Hello, I'm Elton Robinson with your July 8th grain and oilseed update. Weather in the Mid-South has been hot and dry for the most part, and irrigation of all crops is underway. Some areas benefited from rains. Jimbo Burkhalter, county agent for Tallahatchie County in Mississippi, reports scattered rain across the county early last week, which caused some flooding of fields. Corn was blown down from straight-line winds in some areas. Most areas didn't get much rain, therefore irrigation is a top priority right now. Russ Parker, agent for Randolph County, reports there was some relief last week with scattered rains. High temperatures for the last 2 weeks have allowed the crops to make great progress. Irrigation of all crops is in full swing. Sugarcane aphids are starting to build. Parker says PPO-resistant pigweed is showing up in fields where it wasn't expected and is now challenging producers who have limited control options. Despite limited rainfall in West Tennessee, crops are progressing well according to the state's crop progress reports. In Louisiana, hot and dry conditions were prevalent throughout most of the state, which accounted for good conditions for growth. The east central part of the state received the highest average of rain concentration for the reporting period at 3.1 inches. In Vermilion Parish, Louisiana rice producers are draining fields in anticipation of harvest, says County Agent Andrew Granger. Jeremy Hebert of Acadia Parish says rice fields are also being drained there. Soybeans are looking nice but could benefit from a shower. According to USDA, for the week ending July 3rd, 15% of the U.S. corn crop was in the silking stage, about the same as last year. 75% of the crop is reported in good to excellent condition, compared to 69% at this time last year. Soybean maturity is also ahead of last year, with 22% of the crop now blooming, compared to 16% last year. 70% of the crop is listed in good to excellent condition. 48% of the U.S. peanut crop is pegging, while 71% is listed in good to excellent shape. 20% of the U.S. rice crop is headed, compared to 15% last year, while 69% is listed in the two highest condition categories. 58% of the U.S. winter wheat crop is now harvested, which is about the same as last year. Harvest is essentially complete in Arkansas, California, Missouri, North Carolina, and Texas. 29% of the U.S. grain sorghum crop is headed, which is ahead of last year, and 69% is listed in good to excellent condition. And now on to exports. This summary is based on reports from exporters for the week ending June 30th. Wheat exports of 534,000 metric tons were reported to the Philippines, Thailand, Mexico, Colombia, Taiwan, South Korea, and Peru. Corn exports of 1.27 million metric tons were down 15% from the previous week and 6% from the prior 4-week average. Japan, Taiwan, Mexico, and Venezuela were among customers. Grain sorghum exports of 64,000 metric tons were up 13% from the previous week, but down 25% from the prior 4-week average. Once again, China was the major destination. Rice exports of 156,000 metric tons, up 49% from the previous week and noticeably from the prior 4-week average, were reported to Colombia, Iraq, Mexico, Venezuela, and Haiti. Soybean exports of 195,000 metric tons were down 42% from the previous week and 11% from the prior 4-week average. Customers included Mexico, Tunisia, Japan, Indonesia, Costa Rica, and Vietnam. Soybean meal exports of 207,000 metric tons were up 60% from the previous week and 20% from the prior 4-week average, with Mexico, the Philippines, Venezuela, Canada, and Guatemala as primary destinations. Soybean oil exports of 27,000 metric tons were up noticeably from the previous week and from the prior 4-week average. Customers included Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, the Dominican Republic, and Canada. Beef exports of 13,000 metric tons were down 7% from the previous week, while pork exports of 19,700 metric tons were unchanged from the previous week. Well, that's it for this week's report. I'm Elton Robinson. See you next time.